It's another Stryker of Enyo, and we got another Achievement Guidebook, this time for Jackbox Party Pack number 2. You might be like, what the hell is this thing? Actually, I might be able to swear in this episode because I believe some of the answers to these games are a little too much for kids. But hey, so Jackbox Games, again, the makers of You Don't Know Jack, which is very popular on PlayStation and Xbox 360, and so on. They made that game. They made some other games. They released a bunch of them as a Jackbox Party Pack number 1. This is number 2. And they kind of did the same thing. They came out with a standalone Quiplash game for $10 back in June of 2015. And then they came out with this actual package that contains Quiplash XL on October of 2015. Now, Fibbage 2 is another version of their basic everyone creates a lie, and it's pretty much how many players can you get to agree to the lie that you're talking about. So we'll get into Fibbage a little bit later. This is Quiplash. Like I said, it is a standalone game for $10. Kind of like what they did with the original Fibbage. They released that before the Jackbox Party game that also had a Fibbage XL with that. So with Quiplash XL, you're actually getting, what is it? It's like 100 brand new prompts, a new Quip pack, some additional stuff to it, you know, give or take. Fibbage 2 has like 500 brand new questions. But so yeah, so you can still buy Quiplash by itself, and you can also get the follow-up game or the XL version of it. Then we have Vidiot. This is the other, I'd say, rather fun party game where you wouldn't think it's that fun, but you basically have all players draw particular pieces of art, and then you basically bid on them. But on your individual devices, you actually are told which items are more expensive and which items you can actually get more money from. But you're not going to know that, and sometimes the descriptions are about the same. Like, everyone might be drawing Porky Pig, but you actually have a thing that says it's one of the pigs from, I don't know, Winnie the Pooh. You know, the famous pig from Winnie the Pooh. But, so yeah, that's a kind of interesting game. Earwax can go straight to fucking hell. So, Earwax is a kind of it's a piece of shit. You basically just pick 2 different sounds for an answer, and then they get played. You don't know what the sound effects are until you've already heard them along with all the other contestants. So, it's okay. Corp, on the other hand, is the only game that is one player in this package, unlike You Don't Know Jack 2015. But this one you can actually play yourself, and it actually is, you can do it in co-op, but you can actually do it by yourself, too. Each player has, it's kind of like, what's that other game called? The, Don't Blow Me Before I Explode. It's where you have to cut certain wires on a bomb, but every player has different instructions that you need to follow, so you need to figure out, you know, like, do I cut the black wire but only when it's next to blue wires, and so on. So that one's kind of interesting. We'll get into that a little bit later. Right now, we're actually going to show you exactly how Jackbox is played. Once you start a game, it connects to the Jackbox Games server. Once you do that, you have to connect using a phone or tablet, or a PC. You can actually do it through a web browser. That is the only way you can play most of these games. Except for Corp, which you can actually use a controller in. All the other games, you need to have a phone or another device. You need to sign in to jackbox.tv and then put in the room code and a name, and that's how you log in to play the game. Just like the other party packs.
A creepy thing to find.
So, okay, this is Quiplash. The achievements themselves. So with like Quiplash, when you have a bunch of other players playing now.
The name of a comedy club.
Crap.
Happy stand-up comedians.
So basically what you're trying to do is,
Vote on your devices.
if you give the same answer, you'll get an achievement for that in Quiplash. The laugh app, so that's actually something that the narrator is supposed to comment on here.
The Laugha Apso is a great place to hear sharp comedic observations.
See, he's actually commenting on it. That's also an achievement. There's a list of things that he will comment on, a list of answers, but you need to figure out what that is. I know I'm not getting to it, but I'm already going into this, aren't I?
I'm opening the door.
This is Earwax, or whatever the hell it's called. Yeah, it's actually called Earwax. This is basically going through an entire game without using bodily functions. That's all players winning a round with 2 voice sound effects. You'll get that automatically. There's like about 4 achievements that are linked to every game in this party pack. And the big thing, I think... was it Corp?
Judging is done. The winner is...
basically, when you get to play as all the players, you're going to end up winning. So let me go through that. In order to play as other players, you need to have different browsers opened on your PC. Now, Don, start without me. That's a funny name. There's a couple different ways you can do it. I've heard different ways that you can do it as well. But if you've got Internet Explorer, Chrome, and Firefox, for example, you should be able to knock out 6 players alone on that device, or on your PC. So if you have a laptop sitting by, you can do another 6 players, and that'll easily giving you... Jesus, pork pants. That's another achievement, is for picking, using the word pork pants in Fibbage 2, and having a character actually like it, or winning the round with it. And of course, I'm controlling all these players, so boom, that's an achievement right there. And I earned a Quiplash, which is called when all the players vote for your thing, all the human players anyway, all the players that are playing the game, not the audience members, because there's audience too. So that's an achievement as well for things like Fibbage 2. So basically, you want to have Internet Explorer, just like the other game. Internet Explorer, Firefox. You want to put them into the in private mode or incognito mode when it comes to the other web browser, and you can have 6 of them on a thing. Now, I've also heard that at least in Quiplash itself, the original, you can actually have each tab be something different. You need to open up Chrome, and then for tab 1, you go to Jackbox TV, you type in a name, and I believe you join the game. Then you clear your history, and then you go open up another tab. Or no, wait, open up a second tab, then clear your history, then go to Jackbox TV, type in another name, and then repeat those steps. So you keep opening a new tab, but then you clear your history, and you should be able to have 8 tabs open with 8 different players. That's the one thing that's going to stop you in this game, is just having enough players to play the games. In order to reach a certain, thing, like, well, Fibbage 2 has 8 isn't enough. Play a game with 8 players plus an audience, so you're actually going to need 9 people. You need to fill all 8 players, and then you need to have at least 1 person in the audience. Like I said, you can do 6 on one computer, and you can polish off the rest on a laptop or other devices if you happen to have them. But that's the easiest way to do it. Like I said, I believe Firefox has a multi-tab browsing where you can have more than just two separate browsers running, and they're all considered to be private. There's a thing for that. I haven't looked into it. Once I had it set up, with Chrome and Internet Explorer and whatnot, or Microsoft Edge, whatever you want to call it. Once I had all those set up, that was pretty much all I needed. That'll get you things. Like in Quiplash, you need to sweep the votes in a 5+ player game. You can easily do that because you're controlling all the players. And this is Vidiot, which actually surprisingly isn't so bad, but this is where you can have an auction go above $4,000. You can screw a player into buying a piece of art. You can take out 3 loans and still win the game. Just have all your players take out a loan, basically.
Do I see?
So yeah, every game has about 4 achievements linked to it. Play a 6-player game in Vidiot. All you need to do is have those 6 players in the room, and your achievement will pop right there. I believe you don't even need to start the game. So, like I said, it's only 1,000. You know, the Jackbox Party Pack number 2. Even though it has 5 separate games in it, each game is considered part of the pack. So it's not like you have 5,000 gamer score here. You know, it's not the Halo Master Chief Collection, but yeah, they're relatively easy and it's relatively simple. In fact, you'll be able to get all the achievements except for some of the ones related to Bomb Corp in about an hour and a half, I would say. In Bomb Corp, well, it's actually, well, we'll give it a second, but we'll end up getting there. But yeah, this is Vidiot. So you basically, you know, you bid on stuff. You know, you're gonna have the winning bids. You're gonna have the winning amount and whatnot because you're controlling, like I said, all the players. That's the big thing about it, is just having a PC that's nearby. You know, where you can have 6 to 8 players on it, and then maybe having a laptop nearby to add a few more players to it. But it's a pretty fun game overall. And this is Bomb Corp. Bomb Corp, there's like 15 days to it, and as you progress through the game, each day gets saved. So like here, I'm actually starting off at day 3. So I've already completed the other 2. You basically have to do a series of bombs, and there's some funny dialogue.
Wednesday, my least favorite day. Come on, Greg, keep it together. Anyway, you know the routine by now. 2 bombs to defuse, blah, blah, blah. Don't kill us all, blah, blah, blah.
It's actually kind of funny, and it's kind of charming, and it really is like a single-player campaign as far as you're concerned. And yes, play it in single player, because if you have 2 different players, then that means that the 2 players are going to have 2 sets of rules by which you need to figure out which wires to cut. Like some will say never cut, don't cut any wires that are next to yellow, and one might say you need to cut all odd wires, but obviously if yellow is one of those odd wires, then you can't cut that, and so on. So it's kind of like that stop and nobody will explode game. I believe that's the name of it. Except there's not a, you know, all you're doing are cutting wires. There is no additional stuff that you need to cut or do. But it's actually kind of a fun game. But there are some, like delivering an alien baby. I believe you have to wait much later in the game for that. You have to file paperwork, you have to make coffee. Those are linked to particular days, and filing paperwork is basically putting a bunch of people's names in alphabetical order. But they try to, you know, they try to make you think. But yeah, you can do it single player, because if you do it even in co-op with 2 players, you got to look at both players' screens and try to determine what you need to cut. And you might as well just do it all on screen in one go. You can use the controller. It's really not too bad. But this one's going to take you a little bit, and that's the only reason why I put the difficulty of this one at a 3. I didn't put the difficulty for Jackbox Pack 1 in it because I completely forgot about it. That difficulty should be a 2. It's really easy. All you got to do is basically sit through those 50 episodes of You Don't Know Jack. This game doesn't have anything like that, but it's a little more difficult because you still have to be, you know, reasoning with yourself on how to defuse these bombs and figuring out the right wires to cut, because they're always changing. All the rules are always changing, so there is no straight up walkthrough. But yeah, it's still kind of a fun game on its own. The only downside is this game is also $25 US. So hey, pick it up on sale and get your achievements. Stryker out. Difficulty 3.